forces killed in 20 years of fighting in Afghanistan. The Minister of Defence has also, meanwhile, released a report claiming that their Russian invasion is stalling on all fronts. So with those two facts, could the plucky Ukrainian David actually beat the Russian Goliath? Let's talk through it now with Lord Richard Dannatt, former head of the British Army. Welcome to the programme. We're seeing a Ukrainian resistance currently that many people would not have expected even 3 weeks ago. Is there a chance that the Ukrainians could win?
Tom, I think concepts of winning and losing aren't right as far as this is concerned. What is undoubtedly true is that the Ukrainian resistance, the Ukrainian defence, has been spirited, determined, and has had a huge detrimental effect to the Russian plans. They had something of a strategy 3 weeks ago when they started this, a rapid thrust down from Belarus towards Kyiv, an advance west from the Donbass regions, and then to capture the southern coastline. Well, it's not gone according to plan, it's not gone according to timescale, and that has been almost entirely down to the determined resistance and opposition of the Ukrainian forces, which have been built up progressively over the last 5 or 10 years by NATO friends and allies, and also in recent weeks, supplying them with additional ammunition and weaponry. And as you have just reported, and I think it's probably about the right sort of figure, around about 7,000 Russian troops may well have been killed. An appalling number, which undoubtedly Vladimir Putin will want to try and keep very close to his own chest.
Is it so high? It seems extraordinarily high. 7,000, twice as many, as I mentioned earlier, as the coalition forces in Afghanistan across 2 decades. 3 weeks, 7,000 Russians. Why on earth is that?
Well, I think there are several reasons for it. One is we probably mistakenly thought that the combat capability of the Russian army was greater than it was. We also know that the briefing of the Russian soldiers, particularly the young conscripts, was such that they were told that they were going to go into Ukraine, would probably be greeted as liberators and peacekeepers, and they were not psychologically prepared to face a determined enemy, the Ukrainians, who were going to resist them. And we saw for many days that extraordinarily long column that appeared to be stuck on the route between Belarus and Kyiv, an absolute sitting target that progressively has been attacked and written down by Ukrainian aircraft and Ukrainian shelling. So it's actually unsurprising that the casualty figure amongst the Russians is as high as it is. But where is this all taking us, I think, is really the important thing. As I think I said at the start of our conversation, concepts of winning and losing aren't the right ones to apply here. What needs to happen is for the parties, and in this case, Putin himself, to realize that he's not going to achieve a victory. He's certainly not going to achieve a quick victory. And he needs to salvage something from this. And the way he'll salvage that is getting around the negotiating table and talking seriously to the Ukrainians. And the Ukrainians are going to have to accept that they're going to have to make some concessions too.
Yeah, it's a concerning picture because we don't want war to be seen to pay, but I suppose negotiations do have to happen. Just finally, we're running to the end of the programme now, but I can't let you go without talking about Iran. Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe, of course, back in the UK today. This is all to do with some sort of, some people say ransom payment, some people say debt that the United Kingdom owed to Iran. Should we have paid it?
Well, I think this is a very good question, and it goes back to 1979 when we were selling tanks to the Shah's Iran. This was before the Islamic Revolution. And I think there's a big question to be asked. Why have we dragged our feet for not paying that £400 million bill to the Iranians? And if that was the reason that kept this poor woman in prison for 6 years, well, big questions have got to be asked. She has been, on the face of it, a political pawn when we probably could have resolved this some time ago. So there may be smiles in the Foreign Office today, but I think there are officials going back many years who need to search their consciences and ask themselves the question, should we not have paid that bill? Was it not a legitimate bill? And should we not have settled it decades ago? And I think this poor woman has probably copped the lot as far as that's concerned, and that's not good diplomacy.